So I think that's a nice little briefer on what the leaks, Edward Snowden's revelations basically explain. And this is very important because the Prism set that they speak about, Prism is the data set that was basically the working document of how to collect data from all these major companies. And what it was is that all internet companies and phone companies were giving their metadata willingly to the National Security Agency. And what metadata was in that case, which you saw Obama speak about, was it wasn't the content of your data, like not the phone call, what you're speaking about, but more along the lines of what time you called or how long the call duration was. Now, many of you will be like, well, I have nothing to hide, so I'm not too worried about it. But when you think about how much you could reverse engineer that data, by knowing how long you call and what numbers you call frequently, you could figure it out. You also may not realize that in your phone, there are settings that you should be aware of that you should be changing and checking. Let's say you have an iPhone. I'm just going to go to that. If you go to your iPhone and you check the privacy feature, all right, so here is the privacy feature. Let's see if I can get it to come up here. Okay, so privacy. And then if you go to location services, which usually most of you keep on, and then you scroll down, it shows all these. Now, if you go all the way to the bottom, you should check this on your own, and you go to system services, you will see what's being tracked at all times. And you could see that all the time you are being tracked. Now, I turned some of them off because I really don't think they're important. But what this is that it's telling this is what's being sent at all times about you. And this is all metadata. So that metadata is being sold consistently and continually to ad agencies more than anyone else. All the time your ads are being tracked. So it knows where you are and what you're doing with all this information, and it sells you ads. In fact, when your phone is unlocked, it hears you. So sometimes you may have actually seen an ad that you don't know how it showed up in your feed. You're like, that's weird. I never actually searched for that, but now it's in my feed. Well, it was most likely because you were talking about it and your phone was unlocked. It sells that data as well. So now we're getting to the point where the semantic web, that means the ability to have understanding of strings and lines, is being sold. Now, if you think of that just at the corporate level, the idea that data becomes corporatized, you can realize how important that is to your privacy of the government tracking you as well. There used to be a time when the big six companies let you watch 90% of all media. And those big six are Comcast, Viacom, Disney, News Corp, and CBS and Time Warner. They really do control 90% of what you consume in the mainstream media markets. And there's a link in the description that helps you see that. But now as we go to the future, or better spoken as the present, through the cloud, it's Google, Amazon, and Facebook that are slowly purchasing up everything. And you can see by Amazon's purchase of Whole Foods. What Amazon's doing by purchasing Whole Foods is creating digital nodes in physical spaces. Now, they'll know when you're in your store, they'll know your buying habits, they'll know what you do. All of this becomes trackable and quantizable to what the Internet of Things will be delivering. What's the Internet of Things, you ask? Is the proposed development of the internet by 2025. It is the removal of legacy products, which are desktops and some laptops, and moving everything to a mobile device, which means by 2025, you will have 3 machines per every human communicating directly with the internet. That comes in the form of wearables, which I'm wearing an analog watch, but if you're wearing a digital watch, that's a wearable that communicates with the way that the internet operates, which means we're becoming more of a machine-based society. Sort of like Norbert Wiener's idea of the machine use for human beings, the human use of human beings, way back in 1950, when he started thinking about the mechanization of cybernetics. How do we become more cybernetic? It's becoming a process, like the real thing. So real quick video about what the Internet of Things is by this company called Cisco.